I just got back from a 2-week trip to Italy, and so I wanted to share some of my mostly tech favorites for traveling on a longer trip with you. I have traveled a few times with almost this exact setup, and so I feel like I finally have perfected, at least for now, bringing the items that serve all of my tech needs without overpacking, because that's something I am continuously trying to not do. And I feel like this past trip, my setup worked really well, although I do also have some regrets in the tech department that I'm going to share. So the first thing I want to talk about is the JBL Clip, which is a little portable speaker. And I wanted to mention this first because this was actually like the unexpected MVP of the trip. I was traveling with some friends, so this speaker got a ton of use. We had it at the beach, we had it at the Airbnb. This speaker is something that I've had for a long time. I bring it to the beach with me often. I can even use it around the house. The sound quality is really good for being a very small speaker. Like, this is the size, smaller than the size of my hand, and it holds a really nice charge. I bought this on sale on Amazon probably a year and a half or 2 ago, so I've had it for a long time. It still works perfectly. The only quality issue is the stickers. There used to be like a whole row of pink stickers. Oh, you can see, yeah, these are coming off, so that will eventually come off, but it doesn't affect how the speaker works. So I would definitely recommend a portable speaker, and if you don't already have one, this is one that I can definitely recommend because the quality is awesome for the price. The next essential I have is kind of an underrated thing. It's not, a sexy tech product, but I feel like it's something that you could easily forget and then be really upset that you don't have. So traveling outside of the country, you often will need a different type of power adapter. So this bank has USB-A and USB-C ports on the bottom, and it has 2 of each. So I can plug basically anything into this, and it has an EU plug. It also has Australia, USA, and a UK adapter. So this kind of a plug, you can find these anywhere. This is actually one that was given to me as a swag, so I didn't buy this, but you can buy these for pretty cheap, I think, on Amazon. There's like a place to plug in other devices in the front, so if you have something special, like I plugged my hair straightener into the front of this, it's nice because you don't need to have a special adapter and then your phone brick too. You can plug your phone or headphones into the bottom to charge them. This is definitely something I'd recommend if you are traveling outside of the country because it covers all of your needs in one. I didn't have to bring my phone charger, just brought my phone cable, my headphone cable, and then anything else that I wanted to plug in, I could plug in right here to the front. I have talked about this on my channel before in a previous just general tech favorites, but something that I always bring with me when I'm traveling, basically no matter if it's a short trip or a long trip, is my Kobo. Any e-reader would fit this category. I happen to have the Kobo, which I really like. I used to have a Kindle, but this is much better in my opinion. However, don't buy it if you have a Kindle that's working fine. Just use what you have. But I love having an e-reader. I like to read physical books, but especially when I'm traveling, this allows me to pack a few books, and it's just really convenient. It's very slim, it fits into my bag. So I was able to take this around on the train, did a lot of reading, and at night, it's just nice to have a book if you're somebody that likes to read. If you don't like to read, then this one's not for you, but I always bring my e-reader. I've tried different forms of entertainment on trips. Like I've brought my Switch before on a trip, and while that was fun on the plane, I didn't get basically any use out of it during the trip, and so it was just like a way overpacking for not very much use. So the Kobo, an e-reader, is something that I have found is the perfect balance between having something entertaining that's not just scrolling on my phone and also not taking up a lot of space. And if you're wondering, right now I'm reading Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb, finally. I know this book has been around for a long time, but I'm finally getting around to it, reading it, and I've been enjoying it. This is what I was reading in Italy, although I also was listening to an audiobook while I was like walking around Rome. The Name of the Rose, I think it was called, and enjoyed that one too, although I'll be honest, I had no idea what was going on most of the time for that book. It was kind of just like background noise ambiance for me, which is not my usual style of reading, but it kind of fit. I also have talked about this on this channel before, but this is the camera that I just bought, and this is my first camera. This is the Sony ZVE-10 Mark II, and I've had this for a couple months now, and I wanted to bring it to kind of test out on the trip. I certainly am still learning photography and videography, so the pictures and videos that I got with it are kind of experimental, just playing around. I didn't have a ton of time to play around with the settings, and I only have the kit lens that it came with, so I don't have a specialized lens or one that would do long distance shots better. But even with this kit lens, I was pretty impressed. There was one place that I went in Rome where I hiked up this hill, and it had like a beautiful view over the city. I hiked up there kind of around sunset time, and I got some okay shots of the rooftops of Rome. I was impressed with the zoom on this camera, at least. If you were trying to, take really high quality photos, I think you'd want a more specialized zoom lens, but just for an easy travel camera, I was really impressed with this. I do have an ND filter on this camera, which I think is a must. I have an ND filter for my phone as well that I've used in the past, and this is one thing about cameras and photography and videography that I have learned. I actually have one for my drone too, which I don't use very often. Should get more use out of that, but an ND filter is really nice, especially if you're going to be outside. It's kind of a must because it acts like sunglasses for your camera and produces a much nicer video quality, picture quality. And to go along with the camera, I was kind of looking into what bag I wanted to bring that would fit my camera and fit everything else. I didn't really want to have like a camera bag per se, because I feel like they're not as fashionable as a regular bag, and B, I don't have a lot of gear. I just have the camera, so I didn't necessarily want to have a bag that was more focused on the camera and didn't suit my other needs. So my compromise was this Kodak camera protective case. It's actually a square piece of material. It's got this padded, kind of water resistant coating on the outside and a more soft interior, and you can basically shape it to fit whatever camera you have and create a pocket, and then you put your camera inside and wrap it up. It has a couple of Velcro pieces, and then there's this elastic, and it folds up very nicely. And so I just had this inside my bag, and it worked really well. This, I believe, is the medium size, and I think I could have actually gotten away with the size small. I think if I was to rebuy this, I would probably buy the size small for this camera, but it worked fine. It just has like a little extra bulk to it, but that's just extra padding, so it's really not an issue. I know that they market these as an accessory that you can use for additional lenses too. I think that is something that people really like these for, not just the camera. Like if you have a lot of gear, having an extra lens, you can wrap it up in this and basically form it to whatever shape you need. Next thing I have is also something that I've talked about before. This is going to be of interest if you are into travel journaling, especially. This is the Canon Ivy printer. It's a little mini printer and it prints out photos that are on sticker paper. So I really love travel journaling. I think it's a great way of memory keeping trips. Instead of buying a lot of souvenirs, I like to keep ephemera that I collect on a trip, and pictures obviously are a really important part of a trip. So I love having a little printer that I can just print out photos and stick them right in my travel journal as I'm still on the trip. And it's also fun if you're on a trip with other people, you can print out. I gave my friends some pictures that I printed out of us, so it's just a really fun little device. It definitely doesn't print the best quality pictures, and I think that there are better travel printers that you can get if you have an unlimited budget or a higher budget, but for the price, this one is the best mini printer in my opinion. I bought a cheaper one before this that I ended up returning because I just didn't like it. I thought it was, it was still like $50 and the quality was just really bad. So I'm really happy with this. This is the third trip that I've brought this on and I love it. I'm going to continue to bring this with me on trips, at least ones that I plan to do a bit of travel journaling on. The refills also are very compact. It's even smaller than like an Instax camera. I used to bring one of those and I don't anymore because it's just a lot bulkier. So this is the size of an Instax and I do love this camera. This is a lot of fun. If you don't have an Instax or another Polaroid style camera, I would definitely recommend it for keeping at home. But since this is about travel tech, this is the size comparison. So carrying this around in my bag, this is a lot heavier. You also have to bring film, which is almost the size of this for a film package, maybe half the size. But it's considerably larger than the mini printer, and also I'm always worried about this when I'm traveling. Like, I want to keep it in my bag obviously to take pictures, but I'm very concerned about it getting damaged or like accidentally going off since it has a button. This I just leave at home at the hotel or Airbnb, and then I only use it in the evening. So I don't carry this around me all the time, whereas this I would. The last thing I wanted to talk about is actually an app. It's called Airalo, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but I have used this eSIM app in 3 different countries. I've used it in Italy, Brazil, and Costa Rica, and it worked really well in all 3 places. And my brother actually used it in Japan because I recommended it to him, and he said it worked there too. So verified at least those 4 countries, it works really well. But I've heard other people talk about this online, and I think that it works for most countries. Basically, you just buy an eSIM. So the newer iPhones, at least, like, you can't even put a physical SIM in them. So I think you have to purchase some sort of eSIM. It's way cheaper than buying an international plan through Verizon or AT&T, which would cost like $15 a day. I think I spent $15 or $20 for a 15-day package of 10 gigabytes of data. So the comparison is like not even in the same ballpark, and it was the same for the other countries that I've been to as well. Next, getting into my regrets from this trip, because there were a couple. The first one is bringing a power bank and not bringing the right cord to plug it in. So this is an older power bank. It's kind of small. I know it holds a charge, which is why I brought it. Again, this is one that just was like a swag power bank, and so I put some stickers on it, and I have been using it for years. But because it's so old, it only has a USB-A port, and my phone, I have USB-C to USB-C fast charger, and I just didn't even think about the fact that my phone cord wouldn't plug into this, and that was the main reason why I brought this, was to keep in my bag and have a backup power source for my phone, which I did need. So this is a huge regret. Make sure if you're bringing a power bank, which I definitely recommend if you're planning on doing a lot of excursions or outing, just make sure that the power cord fits. I'm definitely going to be buying another power bank before my next trip because this is just not going to cut it for me anymore. I need something that has a USB-C charging port because I'm not bringing another cable for my phone just to plug it in here. When I was talking about the ND filters for my camera, I mentioned this, but this is something that I wish that I had brought actually. I was trying to pack light, and since I was bringing the camera, I decided not to bring this iPhone setup, but I wish that I had because there were some days when I didn't really want to bring the camera with me, but I wish that I had a nicer photography setup. So this is a combination MagSafe grip, which just is like a nicer way of holding your phone, especially if you're going to take video. This helps to stabilize the footage, and you can shoot in portrait or landscape with this. And this in combination with this ND filter, this is a MagSafe attachment for your phone that has an ND filter on it, and you can put different filters on this. So if you have, I think the kit that I bought had a CPL and ND filter. The filter just screws on, and then this MagSafes, and you can stack it. So this can go directly on your phone, and then you can stack this onto the clip, and you end up with this kind of, you know, it's a little bulky, but it's not as bulky as a camera, especially. And if you have a tripod or some other attachments, you can screw it in here. If you're not using the clip, you can screw into just the ND filter clip. So this is a really nice accessory that I think, especially for travel setups where you're trying to be minimal, maybe just trying to use your phone, I really recommend this setup. I think I've talked about both of these products before, but this is something that I really wish that I had brought with me. It doesn't take up that much space, and I think it would have been nice to have. And since I have a lot of gear here, I also wanted to quickly mention the bag that I bought for this trip when I would be carrying around my camera. This is the Bellroy, I don't remember the name of the bag, but it's one of their sling bags. So it has a strap back here. It's got a little strap that you can hook onto your luggage. And I got this because A, it's got a lot of pockets, which are always nice, and I liked the color. But B, I have another Bellroy bag. I actually have this one that I have had for a while. I bought this probably 2 years ago, maybe not that long, but I've traveled with this a lot, both for short and long trips. I have used this as my only bag for a weekend trip, and I've used it as my personal item. It is a very nice quality bag. I brought this with me this time kind of empty. I put this inside of this backpack, and I have a little roll-on suitcase. So I use this as my personal item. It does fit under the seat if you don't pack it completely full. But if you fill this up, then you need to have it as your overhead item on an airplane. But I like this because it has a suitcase style opening, and you can fit a lot in here. I really like this bag. I would definitely recommend it. So when I was looking for a day bag, I checked out what else they had, and I found this one, and I'm really happy with it. I like that it has kind of some hidden pockets, but that are still easily accessible. So I had like my passport and wallet in this big back pocket, which ends up going, you know, it's behind everything. So I don't really like anti-theft belts. This I feel like is good enough pickpocket protection. I wanted to get something that also fit like camera, my Kobo, water bottle, all of that fit in here nicely. I was very happy with this as my second purchase from Bellroy. That is all of the tech that I brought with me on my latest trip, and like I said, I feel like this is the kit that I finally have found works really well, aside from the few blunders like the power bank and maybe next time if I have space I would bring the iPhone photography setup as well. But let me know what your travel favorites are and if you have any suggestions for tech that I should try on my next trip. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.